areas. Being new to the position with the post-secondary starting August, September, the biggest challenge I'm facing right now is not having a full list of who our current post-secondaries are that are returning. I was pretty much just given, here's our new students, set them up. So dealing a lot with the parents and the grandparents on issues. I have to be stern and say, like, look at, these are adults and they don't give me a release of information, so I can't discuss anything with you, confidentiality reasons. Understanding the policy, Couching's policy, the ISC guidelines to post-secondary education. I'm self-learning that stuff, a lot of reading. One of the issues that I found as well with one of my students when COVID hit, there's one specific situation that comes to mind, is one of my students went into a depression state. So he ended up doing really bad last term. He had to go to counseling. His parents had to go across the other side of Canada to go get him and stuff like that. But thankfully they pulled him out of it. He's doing better and he's looking at returning to his studies next year. So I don't have a counseling background. I have a business and economic background myself, my education. So that's a big learning for me, is to how to counsel my students on the different mental health issues, personal issues they're having, things like that, stress.
Thank you. Okay, Carlene.
You mean for workshops?
Yeah, and your success and your challenges.
Oh, I have a challenge. I just actually have been working on it since the student started in September. He's a new student, grade 12 grad. He's taken a program at Waterloo University, and it's geography and aviation. I have never had a student take aviation before, so this is new to me. The cost of the program for aviation is ridiculous. I don't even think we can cover what he's going to have to pay for this program. So I talked to the lady this morning that runs the flight school, and she told me it's going to cost $78,000 just for the flight. Anne-Marie's shaking her head. And I really don't see us covering that cost. So I'm just kind of putting it out there to see what other people have done when you have a situation like this. That's just that's not his tuition, residence. It's so I'm kind of just because it's new to me, I just need anybody out there who's had to deal with somebody in this situation. But she also told me that they're really, when students are sponsored, she said, we don't normally have them sponsor this. This is rare unless it's second career in some cases, she said. So often when a student is sponsored, they don't cover the full cost of this program. Any thoughts out there?
I can share that, I don't have the right piece in yet, that the flight school part, unless it's Sioux College, we don't pay for flight school.
Okay.
Because Sioux College is the only college that is subsidized by the government for their aviation program and the flight training portion of it.
Okay.
But for example, like Canador's aviation and their helicopter training, Canador does the academics, which is all great. Mm-hmm. We'll pay for the tuition fees for that. But when it comes to the flight school training, they offload that to a private company, and we won't pay that part. So the student is aware of that up front, that we'll cover all the academics for the program. And same thing, there was a school out east. I had a student looking into a university for the same kind of thing. So it was the same thing. The flight training was going to be private, and had to tell him that based on the costs and everything, based on that it's private, that we wouldn't help him with the flight training part, but we could do all the academics.
That's good to know because she did, this is a private as well. And it is really costly.
Yeah.
So he doesn't start this flight school part until January. And I really don't see us doing it either. So I just wanted to find out like other counselors and what they've been doing, because I just really think this is not something that we could cover either. And because of, mainly because of the cost. And he's there for a 4-year program.
Colleen, there's a few responses to you in the chat room here.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying check out FNTI, so you might want to check with them. They've been doing this for a long time, so yeah.
But the student's already enrolled.
Yeah, he's already in school.
Yeah. So
Wow.
he would have to seek alternate funding for the flight school part if you can't help him with the flight school part.
Yeah, and the other part too is they recommended if it's not going to be covered and he can't afford to pay it, that he would just stick with his regular degree program without the flight school. So I'm waiting for the agreement that they're going to send me on to total cost. But this lady was really good today when she explained how it would work, and I thought, okay, I just don't see us doing that because it is a private. It's not part of, like, I think it would be different with FNTI,
Yeah.
but this is like a major expense that would cut into a big chunk of my funding.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. Terry Lynn. Terry Lynn, are you there?
I'm here, Roxanne. I'm listening to everyone. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I don't have video.
Ah,
It's nice to see you.
okay.
So, let's see. I'm without an education director right now. It's been pretty rocky for the past 2 years here in POSEC with respect to having a supervisor and leadership. What else? COVID has really thrown a monkey wrench into things, especially with myself alone trying to handle a caseload of about 120 students.
Wow.
It's been stressful, to say the least.
So what are you doing
moving along now. What's that?
What are you doing to take care of yourself?
Not a heck of a lot.
Okay, so maybe that's what we want to hear, is what kind of workshop you would like to see for the conference.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, and I missed a little bit of that. So we're looking at doing that in the spring?
We're going to be doing some online stuff through Zoom.
Okay.
Self-care stuff, workshops. People have been putting stuff into the chat room already.
Okay. I'll think of some stuff to contribute to that on the chat room for sure. But I hope everyone else is doing well and coping okay. And it's just nice to see everyone again. Haven't seen you in, what's it been? Probably about a year. So that's it for me, Roxanne. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm glad you joined us. Irene. Irene, are you there? Okay, I don't know where Irene is. We'll come back to Irene. I feel like a radio broadcaster, aren't I? Okay, Carol, we haven't heard from you. This is your first time joining us in a while since the conference. So how are things?
Yeah. Hi there. Yeah, it is my first time. Unfortunately, other meetings conflicted with other meetings that I had scheduled. So this is a good time for me to be able to join in. I guess I would say the challenges this last little while was completing the post-secondary report, because I purchased the data van program. And I ended up having a few glitches, and although I have to say Justin was really good at ensuring that the problems were fixed, but it was just little things. And I think what was happening from what I understand, is that every time ISC made changes, they didn't always catch the changes, so that caused some issues. But I'm liking the database program. I think once all of these little quirky things get worked out and have been worked out, hopefully for next year, it will be so much easier to complete that post-secondary report and less time consuming as we're building the report as we go. So that was a success, yet it was frustrating. And then the whole portal went down because they were hacked or something, so I couldn't upload to the portal once all my little fixes got fixed. It was now, the issue was at Indian Affairs end that we couldn't access the portal. So my contact that I was working with was great at Indian Affairs, and I was able to just email her the XML, and she was able to do some things and upload it for me. So even though it was very challenging and frustrating, it was turned out, I built relationships with some people in the process because I was in communication with them often, trying to get these issues fixed. As in terms of training, I said that I agree with Anne-Marie. There's so many different meeting platforms that I have never really had to use, that some training on that would be great. And I think I owe some fees, Roxanne. Is there a membership fee, something that you can email me and I can get that sent? I was just reviewing my budgets and I put it in my budget and I'm like, I don't think I've paid that yet.
Oh, well, I have everybody's address. So after this meeting, I'll go through the list. And if you get a form from me, that means you're not paid.
Okay.
So I can do that, Carol.
Yeah, okay, great. Other than that, I think the students, lots of kids are staying home, working on their first semester from home for the first part. Hopefully, I haven't heard from anybody that has any issues. I'm going to be reaching out this week to all the students to see how they've settled in. I mean, I've heard, but I'm hoping everybody's healthy and that they're not contributing to the cause of COVID cases increasing. And if they are, they're going to, I'll certainly be giving them some heavy talking.
Okay, thanks, Carol. Hey, Carol, did you connect with Datavan after our conference?
Yes.
Okay.
During the conference and after, yes.
Perfect. Okay, it's good to know that something good came out of our conference there. Okay, Debbie. Oh, Christine, can Christine go first? Are you leaving, Christine?
I'm going to be leaving you in 6 minutes, so.
Okay,
Sure, she can go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alrighty. I'd like to welcome Annette. Annette, I'm from Botswana First Nation. I knew you when you were a little girl about yay high.
I know.
At your auntie's house.
I recognize your name.
So welcome. Anyways, the challenge that I'm having here in Botswana First Nation is that unfortunately we didn't get a full budget, and even with our nice little COVID top up just brought us to, so we probably end up with a deficit this year. However, the bigger challenge is that we have probably 10, 12 grade 12 graduates who've postponed, and our continuing students who have postponed and took a 1-year grace period. And then we'll also have all those grade 12 graduates next year. So we're actually in a major financial crisis coming up. But with that said, let's see, what else? The success, is there any success? What's normal anymore? Just kidding. Success as in post-secondary program, everything is going fine. I reach out to the students, good old Facebook and Messenger, email, the students all text me their receipts, social media has made it easier. Just take my laptop and go and I could communicate from wherever in the event that we might be shutting down again. is another unfortunate thing here in Batchewana Territory or in Sault Ste. Marie, depending on the numbers. So we have that happening. What I'd like to see is if we could get training in regards to, I know my good friend Anne-Marie, I think, bought the package for the publisher. I'm looking at trying to do a fill-in application, changing my app. Like I have it now on PDF, but I mean, they can't fill that in and send that back to me, or I don't have the training or knowledge on that program. And I'm in dire straits of getting that. And also with all this, where right now I'm trying to find out more information on the meeting or what meeting from Sioux College. Sioux College does the Microsoft meeting app, and then there's the Zoom, and then Algoma has a different one. Yeah, okay, I'll be right there. Okay, sorry folks, the boss is knocking at the door. Oh yeah, we don't have an education director yet. Closing date went out last week. Hopefully interviews are within the next 2 weeks, and we have somebody here by Christmas, New Year's. Let's just all, please cross your fingers for us, okay? I think this is our 3rd round, so hopefully we get a director. If not, I'm applying. If it goes one more time, I'm applying for the director. No, just kidding. Okay, I'm gonna leave you with that. Bum up here, it was really nice seeing you. Hopefully we can do this again soon. Miss yous all, I really do.
Okay,
You bet.
carry out, bye. Okay, Debbie.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. It's good to see everybody. COVID really has done a lot of, made this an unprecedented year. One of my challenges is I'm a bit worried for my first year post-secondary students because they've actually been off school since March. The high school students starting their first year, and I know they're having challenges, you know, getting back into it, getting their reading stamina up and all that kind of stuff. So I've been having to support them a lot, and they're not feeling connected to their new schools because they're at home doing their work. So that's been a challenge. A success that we had was we did send off an international student to Ireland to do a Bachelor of Business Administration. So when she sent in her application, my first thought was, oh my gosh, do you really want to do this during COVID? But I went along with her and supported her and did, you know, everything that we needed to do to get her going. And so she's been there now for 6 weeks and she's been having good success. She's enjoying it. Let's see, as far as professional development, I do like the idea of learning how to do a PDF application. That would be really nice online. And I was thinking more for self-care, maybe doing some kind of a beading project where you could send out the kit to us and then we could all do it together online or something like that. Something that, you know, takes us right out of our usual day work and gives us something to do. We've had here in London, Ontario, we've had a few cases at the Western University, but we still have our testing site available here in Chippewa. So that's been helpful to the community and students in our area. And I think that's pretty much it for now. I am getting a lot of applications because I feel people are like, well, I might as well go to school. I'm not doing anything. So it has been busy that way. But it's good to see everyone. And thanks.
Okay, Bunny.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bunny, also Anne-Marie. Rocks. So I'm from Garden River First Nation. I'm the post-secondary counselor, Annette, and any other new ones. Been here a long time, like Christine. I'm into my 32nd year, be starting 33rd years shortly in November. Successes and challenges. Successes, the majority, about 98% of the students returning to school. And some of the challenges are, much like everyone else is saying, the I still have a wait list because we didn't get our full budgets. I have a wait list of 12 people that we weren't able to approve yet. Some grade 12s deferring because they weren't comfortable going to online studies full time and starting their post-secondary years online. Some just happened yesterday, actually. A student that graduated college is in his second year of university, giving me his bad news that he can't continue because he doesn't feel like he's given his best effort through online studies. So he's going to withdraw for now and either increase his skills or with online learning, or wait until it goes back in person. And we don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. So I hate to see him go, but it's best because he explained it very well that he doesn't want to ruin his sponsorship. He doesn't want to ruin his grades because he's looking to the future for graduate studies and all that kind of stuff. So it was a really good decision for him to make. Tough one for him because he is such a good student. My students, I have a few that had to go to the schools. Majority of my students are home, but the athletes and students that are in hands-on programs had to return to their schools. So that's a little unnerving for me, let alone their families, I'm sure. But so far so good. I've not heard anything bad yet. And then if things shut down again, of course, we'll support them in going home very quickly. The fillable forms. During COVID, Christine is right. I got permission to buy Adobe Acrobat Professional version. And I'm by no means trained in that, but I worked on it. It's not even uploaded yet. And because, of course, had to do all the other stuff to prepare for fall and do the report and all that kind of stuff. So I got a good handle on the main page of my application. I've edited it. I've removed things and added things that I've noticed over the years that I keep going back to look for from files. So I want it all on one form. So I have a draft copy of that and need to work on the other forms and then make them available on our website. For submitting forms, that was a challenge through COVID. But I was quick to find out from a student, thankfully, that our cell phones are great devices for not just talking and texting and looking at Facebook. They're a great device to scan documents and get actual PDF copies. So an iPhone using your notes application will make excellent PDF copies. And same with an Android. There's an app on the Androids. I don't have an Android, but I've researched it now and I send all this information out to my students because they're submitting their applications, they're submitting their receipts and different things, their schedules and all that kind of stuff. So they're starting to use that instead of just taking a picture that's blurry and not a good copy once I get it. So they're starting to use that. So that's a success that the students are actually using that. The technology though, my first thing for training is learning those platforms, not being the expert in it, but being able to be comfortable in using it so that I could then ask my students to use it to call me now, or I can call them. I've not hosted a meeting, so I don't know that. I can sure click the link and join meetings, but I don't know how to host the meeting. So I just came from a staff meeting, said the same thing at the staff meeting, that all of our staff need to learn that and get prepared for this because they don't know either. I've joined on 4 different platforms for meetings, so I've experienced more of the platforms, but absolutely still need the training on how to do that much better.
All right, well, you know what, there's a lady downstairs right now, she's teaching Excel, so maybe after this meeting, I'll go and talk to her about maybe platforms. Maybe I think there are a bunch of techno people downstairs right now, so I will check that out. Thanks for the recommendation.
Good. And one more challenge that I've been fortunate to, from the education unit, in the last couple of years. I've gotten invites to sit in on psychoed assessment findings meetings with graduating high school students. So that with their permission, I'm eligible to join the meeting and hear the psychologist's findings and all the assessments and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I put that, how to understand IEPs and psychological assessments better. It's not to be able to administer it or, you know, come up with my own recommendations based on all the scales and tests that they use to administer the assessment and come up with their findings. It's just so that we're a little more confident when we're hearing this, or if you don't get to participate in the assessment findings meetings, that you at least, when you get a copy, that you could understand a little bit better to help your students to get the support services and accommodations
Hey,
better
maybe you can
from
send
the
me,
schools.
can you send me along the information of the psycho assessment person, and maybe we can set up a little workshop with them.
Sure. Yeah, she's very good. The psychologist that I've only attended 3, but they're so good. And when the parent shows up, the parents are so thankful on how she delivers the findings that it helps them to understand how their child is and why their child has been the way they are and how better to help them.
Awesome. So can you send that to Luann too? Because, you know, she's in charge of the conference organizing stuff. I'll probably just lose it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. I can't be trusted lately. Okay, Janet.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I don't know. I think everyone's touched on what we need to do in our sessions: third-party sponsorship, wellness, self-care, meeting platforms. I just want to touch base that Wikwemicong does have all of their forms online, fillable, and to let you know, students still have a hard time doing it. So they still want to print it and fill it out by hand, or they don't have a printer, or they can't do it on their phone. So there's still going to be issues if you have fillable online forms. So just to let you know, we did run into that. So our challenges for us is tuition fees. Me and Rona both have noticed that most of our programs are online. Some of our students do have to attend the school and do, you know, inline labs or in-class labs and stuff, but I'm not understanding why we're paying for athletic or recreational fees or student campus safety, or there was one other one, athletic complex fee, when our students aren't even at the institutions. So, like I said, I'm just having a little bit of an issue why we're paying for all of those fees when our students can't access them. Another challenge that we're having is the bookstore is not being open, and actually contacting the bookstore and then having to go through Foliette. So you send your sponsorship letter to the bookstore, and for whatever reason, the online service is going through Foliette, and Foliette is not getting those sponsorship letters. So Foliette doesn't know that my students are sponsored. So it's kind of hard trying to navigate through that, a lot of communication back and forth, and then the students are getting upset because they're not able to access their books, or they don't have the money to purchase them right away. So it takes some time. And I've had some students, you know, fall a little bit behind due to the fact that they're not able to get their books. I've also noticed a lot of bookstores were back ordered with a lot of their textbooks. Students would go and try and get their texts, and either there wasn't enough copies, or they couldn't get it, or they were having issues getting access codes with their ebooks. So that was a little bit of a challenge. So success. Me and Rona together both have about 300 students. So the online learning environment has gone well for most of our students. We are, however, finding that our students who do struggle regarding with an IEP or needing extra assistance are having difficulties due to the fact that they're not in class. They are unable to develop a routine to get into because it's so much discipline to do online learning. But again, it's not a majority of our students, which is good. But again, it's trying to find those supports while everyone is working remote to help those students be successful. So a lot of them are feeling a bit frustrated at this point. So it's a little bit of a challenge for us to try and get them the supports required for them to be successful. Other than that, I think that's about it. Vicky's pretty good.
Okay, Jennifer.
Yep.
Okay, you have a camera? Maybe turn it on. You.
I can see if it'll work.
Okay.
Let's see.
If not, it's okay. I just like to see everybody. It's visiting time. Where'd you go? You're gone completely now. Ooh. I don't know where Jennifer went.
She hit the wrong button and hung up.
She's gone completely. Okay, Patty, how about you take a turn here while Jennifer's maybe trying to come back? Patty? She can't hear me? No? Patty, are you there? Okay, Carly, we're just going to keep going here. Carly's here. I can see her.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I won't talk too long. I don't really have that much more to add, I guess. I'm the student support worker with Matawa First Nations in Thunder Bay. So my main job is just to kind of keep on our students. We have about 100 funded students from 5 of the Northern First Nations in Ontario. And so typically the ones that are in Thunder Bay, the ones that are at Lakehead University, Confederation College, or Oshkie Wedjack, I would meet them in person about once a week. So it's been a challenge now because I'm having to rely on emails and texts to kind of check in with them. They have a policy with Matawa where they have to check in with us every 2 weeks to maintain their funding. So they have to, let us know how school is going and prove to us that they're still in school, right? Because we pay them their monthly allowance by direct deposit. So we try to limit the students that are just kind of taking our money and running. So I find it already challenging in that I can't meet with my students in person. Our Matawa offices are still closed to the public. And we don't know if that will be extended into this month as well. So the students can't even come and meet me here because all the campuses are closed here in Thunder Bay. I've already had a student not emailing me back, and so I called her. I'm like, how's it going? She's my 3rd-year student, so I already have a pretty good relationship with her. And she's like, I'm already just done with emails. I saw your email, but there's just so many emails coming in. It's just emails from my classmates, from my professors, from everything. And she's like, I'm just checked out. So I anticipate having a problem keeping in contact with my students who are already just overwhelmed with the amount of online. Everything is just online. So I hope we don't lose a lot of students this year, dropping out and that. So I'm finding that to be a challenge already, and we're only, a month into classes. And for me as a personal challenge, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. One is in SK and one is in daycare. And so I was home for the summer working from home with them, at my feet. And so that was an extreme challenge. Because, well, number one, you can't even send an email when you have kids screaming at you, right? And then also from home, we don't have access to our database. We don't have access to our student files, and we are not allowed because of confidentiality to even bring, boxes of student files home with us. So it's really challenging. So I would have to, wait for my husband to come home sometimes in the evenings and come in to the office to do stuff, or come in on the weekends. And I anticipate having this happen again with the school policy. I mean, now you can't even send your your child to school when they have a runny nose. I've had girlfriends who have now had their kids home for 14 days because they weren't allowed to go back to school just because of, a symptom that wasn't COVID related, but the wait list to even get a COVID test here in Thunder Bay is at least a week, I think. And so by the time, you get the results back, it's 14 days anyway. So it's a big challenge. And I mean, I keep kind of describing it as a ticking time bomb. I'm just waiting for one of my kids to come home from school with a runny nose. And then I'm like, now I'm going to be stuck at home for 14 days again. So, so that's a challenge that I anticipate happening this year personally. But other than that, we're plugging away. Okay.
Great, thanks. Okay, Jennifer's back. I see Jennifer is back in the game here, so we're gonna ask her to unmute, but not turn on her camera. She doesn't have enough bandwidth.
Okay, there, I'm unmuted. So one of the challenges I'm facing is
Bandwidth?
the students that have opted to stay home and that live on the reserve aren't having very much success joining their lectures and stuff because we have such low bandwidth and low connectivity. So that's one of the issues, is just actually getting them to join their classes. They're having to drive like 30 minutes to the nearest Tim Hortons to connect to the free Wi-Fi that's fast enough so they can watch a lecture. Oh, and then they end up like downloading as much content while they have good internet speed out there. So that's one of our challenges. What's come along with that is we've had some students actually live on campus now. So they've moved away to go live in residence just so they can have access to good internet. And they're finding that it's very lonesome because number one, there's not very many people on campus. Number two, most of the staffs are working remotely. So it's kind of like one guy said it's like living in a little ghost town. I guess for some successes though, we've had success in one of the companies close to Nawash has given us a grant of $35,000 to ensure that all our first year students have laptops. So I'm in the middle of contacting everybody to make sure that they have an updated laptop with the proper software that they need. And if they don't, we are mailing them gift cards or doing an e-transfer to them so they can purchase the software or technology that they require.
Okay, what about professional development? Personal care, self-care?
Our First Nation has actually been doing very well at kind of like taking care of us. They've during COVID, they've had lunches delivered to our workspaces like on Thursday. So that's like a real morale booster, not like just to have our lunch delivered. And so they've like contracted caterers throughout the reserve, so they're paying the caterers, giving them a little bit of income, but also kind of helping our morale by giving us a hot meal. And they've done things like parades, like just drive-by parades. In the summer they use the youth to do it, and then just kind of like honk and wave and yell thank you. And so yeah, it's one of the good thing I think has come out of it is that we feel more like a team, the whole administration staff, because the Board of Education on Cape isn't part of the administration building, and a lot of the buildings aren't. So that's one good thing that's come out of it.
Perfect. Okay, Patty, are you there? Can you talk? Or I know you're typing over there. Yeah, there you are. Patty, I can see you took your microphone off. I don't know. See, I'm not as good at this controlling people as I thought. Okay, Luann, do you have anything to add? I can't seem to get Patty talking here.
No, I don't have anything to add. I think we have I'm glad some people were remembering to talk about successes given here it's a rainy, wet day, it's cloudy, it's COVID, it's everybody's stuck where they're stuck at home or wherever. And so I'm glad to hear there are some successes. You've given us lots of ideas for working to try to figure out some Zoom sessions for some training and fun things too. So thank you.
Okay, I know we do online forms here, and I don't really pay much attention when I'm doing it as to whether I need a program or not. We just make. I thought it was always Microsoft Word that I was doing it in, but maybe I do have Adobe and don't know it. Anyway, it seems like there's a big interest in that. There seems like there's an interest in the online platforms. Is anybody interested in having an online banquet and in our pajamas and having coffee and turkey, or a theme party with Dave Jones?
Yeah, as long as you cook.
Oh, yeah, I could share the Chris Wall turkey with the rest of you. What's her name? Irene has lost some. Her internet just went down. She's she's saying her internet went down and it's been down for a couple of days, so she can't really talk. Patty, I don't know. Patty's having sorry technology problems, so I don't know. Maybe her phone is not working. But it was.
Did we miss hearing from anyone?
Oh yeah, I don't think so. Not from the names, but maybe if somebody hasn't had a chance or wants to add something else, I think I got everybody though on my list, because some people came in and left. So I don't know where they went.
Any final thoughts from anyone? As in final till the next time, I mean.
Yeah.
I have a question. When are you proposing or looking at such a conference?
That was
virtual conference.
Well, we won't be having a conference, a face-to-face conference. What we were asking for suggestions on doing workshop sessions through Zoom, probably, like one off here and there. We don't have any dates for anything yet.
Okay, so it's not like over a day or two. It'll just be mini sessions.
No.
Instead of, is that what you're thinking?
I think so.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's what we were thinking.
Yeah, I think it's too hard. Like people are like, we spend all of our time on Zoom, so it's really hard to organize like a 3-hour session. Like, look, I lost half our people already, and we haven't even been on an hour. So if we just organize maybe a few mini sessions over the course of a month or 2 months, you know, that are there times that are not good for you guys? Like when's reporting time for nominal roll? That would probably not be a good time to hold a Zoom session. So when are the INAC reports due? Are they due in November, October? July? Oh,
yeah,
okay,
July now. It just moved to July. So
okay.
We're okay for now.
So is there anything that's happening for all of you all at the same time that would interfere with us doing this? No reports?
I think November would be a good time.
Okay.
If we can, if you have presenters that, you know, can get pulled together by then, but it's, you know, I think it would be a good month.
So would you like to see them like over a course of a couple of weeks, we hold sessions back to back, or one session a month, or like, I don't know.
Would they be where we log in and view them when we have our time, when we have time? Would they be recorded or live sessions?
I think we would want live sessions with facilitators, like having a Zoom person here showing you how to touch the button and what to do. Yeah.
Okay. If it's in the middle of the week, it would work good for me. Mondays, Tuesdays is busy because I'm busy doing check requisitions and getting all my electronic fund transfers in on Mondays. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be great.
But even if there's still live sessions, you can still record them. So whoever
Yeah,
can
true.
at a later date.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
record them and upload them, but you wouldn't.
yeah, that would be good.
You wouldn't be able to ask me any questions about it.
I'll send you an email if I have any questions.
I do have a couple of questions. Janet, before we leave, not really questions. It's an inquiry, and I know Patty Brinklow just disappeared. She's still hanging around. I don't know whether she's there to talk or what, but I did get a call and from her colleague, and I want to know if anybody else is experiencing this problem again with the OSAP people, the colleges taking the OSAP first.
Yes.
Okay, you are having troubles? Okay. Is it certain colleges or more than one, or is it just one college that's doing it? Because
It seems like all of them do it.
they're all doing it.
Because what they're doing is they're holding that OSAP fee to go towards their tuition payment until the sponsorship check is there, and then they release it.
Okay.
So what I don't understand is why isn't that sponsorship letter the same as the deposit fee? Like, why is that just not waived? Like, why are they holding the OSAP? And no one can answer that question.
Okay.
Sorry, just because this was an issue, was it a year or 2 years ago too?
We've taken it up with the Chiefs of Ontario and OSAP.
So I remember the Ministry of Colleges and Universities or whoever recommending, if you didn't already do it, you probably already did it, but to make sure that your sponsorship letter has that your First Nation is the first payee of all tuition and ancillary fees. So then they can't use the OSAP. I know that's worked for me. I've not had much trouble anymore since I've added the first payee part on my sponsorship letter.
Maybe they're just not reading mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. So that's an option, is to put that right on your sponsorship letter. And I know that I know that the ministry will not give a directive to the colleges and universities that, that First Nation money should be used first, because there are First Nations who want the OSAP to be first and they'll pay the difference. So, there's no consistency amongst the way we do business. So,
right.
Anyway,
there's actually some place on the OSAP, I haven't seen it, on the OSAP application where a student can check to have OSAP pay their tuition or not. So I've shared that information with students where they don't want that to happen, that they have to make sure that they don't check that box.
But I will be.
They check it, I forget.
I am going to follow up with the OSAP office again. Yeah. And because I know that we, ONECA was very involved in advocating for our communities because of this whole thing. It 2 years ago, but and things kind of calmed down, and now it's back again. So I guess we have to send them a gentle reminder that that those sponsorship letters are legal contracts between the First Nation and the colleges and universities. So anyway, that was just I just wanted to see if this was only happening in one institution, but we will be following up with the OSAP office.
Roxanne, did you get any feedback from my inquiry last week when I asked you if there was a list going out of the institutions that are going online in the wintertime as well? Me and Rona did some research, and where it's our understanding that a majority of them are going online, but I just want to make sure that it's confirmed so that we can inform our students, because I know some of our students have deferred to the winter term to see if there's going to be any changes due to COVID.
Yeah.
I did meet with IPEC, and I did ask for a list, and apparently they don't have a list, and things are changing. There's still decisions being made that, so they don't really have a list. So I know it's not a good news, but we're just gonna have to check out each institution. But I think,
or Janet, ask your students, your current students. I put a call out that as they find out about winter from their schools to please forward a copy of the notice. So then you have your own records on what's happening, because I know there's a few that have officially declared it's going to be online.
Yeah.
And those students have informed me. But for the other ones, they've not yet told me that. But I just put it on. I put it on the students.
Yeah, I'm just worried with like some of the new students, right? Not fully understanding how everything works, and then decided to do residence in the fall,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I was just seeing if there was maybe a list out there that we could just get a jump on the head start before informing the students. But yes, that's a good idea. Thank you.
I know some, like some of the colleges have done a really good job. You just go there, click the link, and they say everything's online. And then the other ones are like, okay, for this period of time, and then they're going to change it. It really is like, it's a grueling job. I admire all of you folks that go through each one of those damn websites, like, and find out what's going on, because it's like pulling teeth with some of them.
Well, and it must be hard too, right? It changes every single day with the amount of cases, and they're probably hoping that they want to start in-class sessions in January, so they're probably waiting to the last possible session, and then bam, you know. So I think we just all need to have patience with everyone, right?
Yeah. And some of the institutions, Janet, I've noticed, like Laurentian has their payment form online, so it talks about what ancillary fees are not being charged. You know, so some of the institutions have those online, and so like if you're being charged for those things, but you know, I don't know, you guys have a lot of students, you'd have to almost go to every institution and find out what ancillary fees are not being charged and which ones are.
But like, if they're not at the campus to access those fees,
then they shouldn't be charged for it.
Why are they charging them regardless, right? Like, it should just be like your tuition and a min fee if it's that. But like the health student fee for $20 or the student auxiliary fee for the sports complex, like, you're not even wanting students on campus. So why are we being charged for the sports complex?
Yeah.
Anyway, so maybe that's something that you know, I will bring up with the COU. I'll send an email to the COU and ask about that as well. You know,
I think there was the student unions, the large student union representation brought it forward, and they were given the explanations that some would definitely not be charged, but others had to still be charged because the school still has to operate and pay their fees and keep the buildings ready, willing, and able to accept students. So that's why the fees still had to stand. But I'm pretty sure like that was back in like July or August, the student union had gone to the main college university body to complain about all the ancillary fees.
okay. All right, anything else you want to add? Anybody want to add anything? I know what's 12 past or 5 past 12.
Let's go fishing for self-care.
Okay, we should.
It's outdoors.
Uh-huh.
We could be 6 feet apart.
Okay. Maybe get Christine to organize a Sudbury district, and we can go over there. We can try out everybody's fishing hole. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. When are we going to have our next meeting, Luann?
I don't know. How about November 1st?
Is that even a weekday? Let me check.
I don't know.
November
No,
1st
it's a
is
Sunday.
Sunday.
November 2nd is my birthday, so I'm not good here. So,
what about the Thursday?
The 5th?
The Thursday, the 5th.
5th. Okay.
Let's think about it in conjunction to when we're having our workshops.
Yeah.
All right. So once you get a confirmation of a time for our workshop, Luann, then we'll decide on it. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. So Buddy, you're going to send Luann the information about the psycho people, the psycho assessments?
The
psycho
psycho people,
people.
I could send you that info too. I have a few psycho people.
Oh, they're all at my house. You know, I don't have to look far. And then, if anybody has facilitators that you think would be good to do the online platforms and talk about these different platforms and stuff, if you know anybody, send that information along. It'll save us a lot of hunting.
Okay.
So that's about it, folks.
Sounds good.
It's so nice seeing
Okay.
everybody.
See you guys.
Yeah.
See you.
Okay. Take care. Bye.
Bye.